have to use a different term, or you know, there's different things that you have to do, or some animals are afraid of vacuums or whatever, and so you figure out why this is happening, and then you work with it. And most people just don't care enough, I guess, to try to connect with their animal to be able to figure out why their pet doesn't, you know, like a particular brand of food. And some owners, they don't even think about it, but they constantly are changing the pet food. They just go with whatever's cheapest. And then the pet gets sick.
Yeah, that's not good.
They're constantly changing food. And so, you know, and I think that all pets are different. You can't say, well, I had one German Shepherd, so I'm going to get another German Shepherd, and it's going to be the exact same thing. No.
Oh, no.
False.
You're right.
You know, and so people have these, you know, illusions. And, you know, like with the wolf dog, he's more a wolf. So he's 98% wolf. So the fact is that his mentality is more wolf than it is dog, right? So, you know, like he's more a pack member. He hates being separated. If I walk away from him for 2 seconds, he'll start howling, you know. So it's just, but that's the mentality. And most people would get annoyed with that, you know, and he's got a keen sniffer, right? So he will find any bit of anything that is floating around that, you know, that he wants, you know, to chew on or sniff or so. And now he's able to reach the table and just, and he's still a puppy. And so, I mean, he's not even a year yet, and he's still able to, you know, do all this stuff. And, you know, he's a little bit of a hellion. But the thing is animals like that also need to be worked. Like, you need to exercise them, and you can't just leave them in your house and not expect the wolf to destroy the place. So, you know, because they're not your ordinary dog. And so that's why they need an owner that is really going to be a pack member. And, you know, the thing is I always think that we should get out of calling our pets, really, and I think we should just call them companions. You know, because there's somebody that we're sharing our life with.
It's true.
And not
I call him my kid.
Yeah, and not something that we exert ownership over. You
That's
know,
true.
like we care for them, but, you know, and we provide care, but not unlike you know, a mother does to a child or a father does to a child. And, you know, but at some level they're equal to us. And I mean, yes, granted, if you know, I mean, you don't make a dog equal to you, because then, you know, you have to actually be able to have some type of authority position over them so that they respect you. But gaining respect isn't about beating the dog when it's a puppy. You know, it's about, you know, loving it and caring for it and knowing that and providing for it. Just like, I mean, you don't gain the respect of your children by beating them.
Oh God,
you know. So it's the same thing. And a lot of people, their initial thing is to yell at the animal, and that, first off, they don't know what the heck you're saying to them. You know, number one, they just know, they sense anger, they sense your energy, they sense that type of stuff, and they, you know, and because that's what they're susceptible to. They don't. You're not barking at them. It's not like you're talking their language, and you're not communicating in your mind anything to them. So the fact is that you have to, you know, look at them and realize that they're sensitive to your anger. And if you're angry, you could see your dog will back away, you know, or your cats will scatter. You know, it's not like they give you space, because that's what the energy that you're commanding. And so a lot of people get frustrated even in the training period, like when they're training a puppy, because dogs are a little bit harder to train, and nobody really has to train a cat. They just sort of learn the litter box. But, you know, so it's interesting, I think, with, you know, puppies and all that stuff. But, and some are more communicators, you know, and so I think people need to realize what type of animal really fits their lifestyle, because a lot of times people get the horse that doesn't really match, you know, their energy level. And it's not go buy the first thing because it's available. I mean, go and see a litter and figure out what puppy you're connected to, or what it is that you really are looking for. And if you're sensitive, you'll know if it's the right one.
I let them choose me. I let them choose me. I go in there and, with all the cats except for this one that he chose us, of course, but I sit in there and I let the animal come to me. I don't call any of them, and I've pretty much been like that since I was 25. I just kind of, they'll know if I'm right for them. I let them make the choice because in a lot of ways animals are smarter than humans, in my own personal opinion.
Well, yeah, because they are, and they're sensitive to energy, and it matters if the animal likes your energy. And if the animal feels safe with you, they're more going to gravitate towards you, especially if you're rescuing, because they don't really feel safe for anybody,
Right.
And they're being muddled in, like if you're going to a rescue versus the SPCA or whatever. I mean, I've gone into the SPCA, what a racket that is. But besides that point, there's it's just mass chaos. Like you have all the mixing of energy. Dogs that really shouldn't be together are together, or at least housed close together. And I think that that's the other thing. I think if you have multiple pets, is I think it's important to be able to, bring certain things that maybe, like if you're going to get a dog, for example. Obviously, I'm a dog person.
I love dogs too. I grew up with them all my life, but
I don't mind cats. Like,
right.
Just, for me, they're just like they all love me, but I'm not a cat person. I'll
and
talk
that's
to
okay.
Cats gravitate towards me. I just am not, like, I'll cuddle with them if I have a cat, or whatever.
Right.
They'll fall asleep with me, or I'll fall asleep on them. But it's bizarre to me. I've just never really found the connection like I do with a dog. And maybe it's because a dog, well, at least the size dogs that I'm talking about, you could do stuff with. You could go on hikes with, you could take them on vacation, you could go swimming with them. You can't do any of that stuff with a cat. And so for me, they're a little more nonsensical for me.
They're not as high maintenance. I think that's what the appeal for some people. Dogs are a little more, needy, I guess, is probably not the right choice of words, but I love both. I'm very drawn to both, and even as a kid, when I was a kid, William, my mother asked me, "What can I do to make you feel better?" Well, I want a wolf. That was always what I would tell her, or a dragon. I was 6. I thought either a wolf or a dragon. She goes, "I can't provide neither of those. One's a mythical creature and the other one's impossible." How do you know that a dragon is a mythical creature?
Yeah, well, and all myths have basis in reality.
Exactly.
Right? So dragons still exist, just in a different dimension, and sometimes enter our dimension. I mean, there's no. The thing is we're in an. This is what I find fascinating with the world is people are selective with what they believe in the paranormal. Like people will say, "Well, I believe in Bigfoot, but I don't know about Loch Ness," or "I believe in this, but or I believe in Loch Ness, but I don't necessarily know if I believe in fairies, or I don't know if I believe in angels." And first off, these things don't need you to believe in them. But I find it interesting that they're very selective, and I think that if say the paranormal exists, then all of it exists. And when you look at fairy tales and stories, even stories of dragons, since you brought it up, every continent has a story of a dragon. They have concepts of a dragon, and they're all very similar. Some fly, some swim, some do whatever. But the face is all very similar. So then you have to think, okay, like here's these continents that aren't touching. They're not touching. Nobody really talks from one continent to the other at the time that all these things were being talked about. And yet here are these very real, descriptive images of what a dragon is. So, and so you have to think, okay, just logically, this creature must have existed. Whether it did everything that everybody believes that it did, that's different, But, we don't know really everything, all the dinosaurs that existed. And so how far-fetched would it be a dragon was similar to a dinosaur? God knows they had similar features.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I have to say, an hour went by awfully quick, and we're almost out of time, William, and I would love to have you on as a guest in the near future. But I do know that you're running a little special solely for my listeners, and before we get off air, can we touch on that?
So basically I'm doing the 30-minute animal intuitive reading, which is usually $85, and I'm doing it for $50, and then the hour session is usually $125, and I brought it down to $90, just for your listeners that are tuning in tonight or hear the podcast or
that's awfully
whatever.
Sweet of you. That's so sweet, and we have a lot of people in the chat room tonight. It's a really awesome turnout, and I'm really happy. William, you've been an awesome guest, and I wish you luck in the future. And I may be one of your neighbors in the very near future, as I am relocating to New Mexico soon. So,
well, that's good. I'm more like a gypsy. So if I'm here when you get here, great. But yeah, and that's the other thing is there's a link that you have the link to my website, but because I'm in the process of probably forming a psychic cruise. There's a lot of different things, like where we're going to island hop around Hawaii. So there's a lot of cool things happening in the future, possible production opportunities. And
awesome. Well, you'll have to come back on again in a few months from now and fill me in on all the new stuff and any kind of promotions you need via radio. Do not hesitate to call upon me, my friend, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Light and love to you, William, and we will be in touch. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Awesome guest. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend.